Hey guys, welcome to this week's Ask Alvin show. It's Thursday today. This is our weekly live Q&A. We're up to episode number 31. For our new audience that have just joined us, this, as I mentioned, is a live Q&A, and this I do every week on a Thursday. And it's a great opportunity for our clients, customers, everybody out there in Facebook and Instagram land to ask questions related to wellness, pharmacy, and all things natural medicine, which I'm super passionate about. So this is a live Q&A, as I've said for the 100th time. I'll be addressing our audience on Facebook through the first phone there, and to my left I'll be addressing our Instagram viewers. So Instagram is live, Facebook is live, Instagram lives only stay on for 24 hours, as you know. And then I would invite you to go check out our Facebook page, which has an archived version of this live Q&A. I would really encourage you, if you have questions as I'm talking, as I'm doing this live Q&A, please make sure you pop them in the comment section below. Same thing with Instagram. And if you're watching a replay, really encourage you to pop your questions in the comment section below as well, because we'll answer your question next week. So yeah. So it's my intention with these weekly Q&As to provide as much value as I can and share some of the knowledge and passion I have about pharmacy medicines, natural medicines, and all things wellness. So yeah, I love doing these Q&As, and we're at 31 episodes later. It's pretty cool. So this is where I just need to launch into my legal disclaimer and so forth. So remember, this is just general advice only. So for advice pertinent to your particular condition, I would really encourage you to contact your healthcare professional, your pharmacist, or your doctor. And if I happen to mention any dosages and that kind of thing, please always use as directed and read the label. And contact your healthcare professional for a dosage regime suitable for you. Easy. Right, got all that legal stuff out of the way. I'm just going to launch into the questions. So before I launch into the questions, I would really appreciate if you could like, share, and comment on this video. It just helps spread the word about some of the great stuff that not only that I do, but this is like a team effort. It doesn't come together single-handedly by myself. So yeah, it just spreads the word about some of the great stuff that we're doing, and we're doing some awesome stuff by these Q&As, which nobody else is doing in this pharmacy wellness space. In Australia anyway, that I know of, live on Facebook or Instagram. So let's go. Question 1. So Mark says he's traveling to Peru and he's asking which probiotics he can take to help prepare his stomach to prevent traveler's diarrhea. So just to recap, for some of us who may not have experienced traveler's diarrhea, or maybe slightly unfamiliar with what traveler's diarrhea is, basically, yeah, you get diarrhea. It can be really bad. Get bloating, flatulence, so you're farting everywhere, gastritis, so you might have reflux, indigestion, you feel really weak and lethargic as a consequence of the diarrhea, and also in some instances you may get a temperature, which is super annoying, and traveler's diarrhea can sort of put you out of action for a long time. In some people it can be days, some people it can be weeks, so you want to ensure that if you know you're going to an area where you've got traveler's diarrhea, you can, hey Claire, you can start preparing your tummy, and you can start taking the right things to help prevent, and also I'm going to talk about the treatment as well. So basically, the traveler's diarrhea can be caused by bacteria, parasites, viruses. The main bacteria in question here is E. coli, which is present, especially if you're going to a third world country like Peru, no offense. Hey Claire. And so, typically you can get it from the foods that you eat. If the foods that you're eating are raw and peeled and washed with the local water, that's including the green leafy vegetables, you may catch it that way. Seafood, notorious as well if you're in a foreign area. Improperly cooked seafood can do that. Street food, if it's not hot enough, you may get it that way as well. Unpasteurized foods, so stuff like milk, especially in third world countries. And of course, drinking local water. Just depends on where you are. All of these things can contribute to traveler's diarrhea. So here's what I'd be recommending. If you're going in a month, or if you're going in a couple of weeks, let's start smashing this out. So the first thing I would do is put yourself on a course of really good probiotics. So probiotics will help introduce really good bacteria in the gut and sort of provide that ammunition to ward off any of the naughty bugs that you may get when you do suffer from traveler's diarrhea. The next thing I would use is to find a particular probiotic in conjunction with the regular one I just mentioned before. You want to get a probiotic that contains S. boulardii or Saccharomyces boulardii, which is a specific strain of bacteria which you can get from your pharmacy. One that is heat stable, so it's perfect to travel with, and it has sufficient evidence that it can be used to treat traveler's diarrhea. So Saccharomyces boulardii is different from the other probiotics in that it doesn't colonize the gut like your other probiotics do. It doesn't stay in there. Once you stop using Saccharomyces boulardii, it sort of gets out of your system. So, which is why I recommended that you start with taking some probiotics immediately, as soon as you know you're going. And then when you start traveling, I would be recommending you take the Saccharomyces boulardii with you every day. Just take 2 a day. So you probably need about, every preparation is different. You want to between 500 to 750 milligrams a day as like a preventative thing. But the good thing about Saccharomyces boulardii is if you happen to get the attack, you can use it in a high dose, and you want to use 1500 milligrams a day depending on your preparation. Just work out the dose. You want to go hard on it. Divide that dose into 2 or 3 doses in a day for the next 2 or 3 days, and it will start to help kill off all the naughty bugs and reintroduce all the good bugs back into your system. And Saccharomyces boulardii is really good for settling down those effects of the traveler's diarrhea, mainly the diarrhea and the gastritis and the farting, the flatulence and the bloating. So it works really, really well, and it's not a well-known probiotic. It's heat stable that people can use while you're traveling, and it's one that I would be definitely recommending. So, Mark, that's what I would do. So, just to recap, get on the probiotics right away, depending on when you're leaving, and go to the pharmacy and also request a particular strain of probiotics called S. boulardii. Take that with you every day, and then when you do get an attack, you can bump the dose up. Everything should be written on the back, but that's strategy I would be using for your probiotics while you're traveling. Easy. Have a good time, Mark. Awesome. The next question that we got is from Jenny, and she's asking, my daughter has exams coming up and she usually gets stressed. She's got year 11 exams coming up, and what can I give her to help her through this stressful period? So I think we've answered this before, but I'll probably do it again because it's pertinent for exam season, whenever that is. Seems to be about now. So what I would be doing, Jenny, and she's in year 11, she's an adult, so I would be, well, I'm assuming she's an adult. She could be 9 years old and in year 11, but let's go with year 11 and she's an adult. So I would be putting her on some B vitamins. So B vitamins are really good at adapting your body to stressful periods. So basically during a stressful period, your body's working sort of overtime. The cells are working overtime and need to top up. And B vitamins are really, really good at providing that extra nourishment, extra energy that your cells might need during this intense period. The other thing I would be recommending is to be putting her, or recommending that she take some andrographis and olive leaf, some really good immune boosters, vitamin C's as well. Just, when you're working really hard, your immune system can be compromised and it just drops a little bit. I would be doing that during this exam period as well. Selenium is also really good. I'll be giving her that. Magnesium also. Magnesium is really good at sort of relaxing and relaxing the overactive areas in our brain and in our body, and will definitely help her through this exam period on, just chilling out and making her feel really good. So you can get something like Berocca, which would be okay, but go and speak to your pharmacist because there are some much better B vitamin preparations that you can use, that you can be given, which will just work much better during this period. Also, Jenny, since your daughter is an adult, you can use some of the back remedies as well, the flower formulations, which work really well during a stressful period. I would just want to make sure you do a test run, because in some people it can make them a little bit drowsy, but that certainly could be an option as a backup during that stressful period. But you only use those when you have the stressful period. So we want to try and prevent. And the B vitamins, the immune boosters, selenium, magnesium, if she starts doing that straight away, will definitely help her during this exam period. There's also, you can try using a few other tricks with, a lot of people find that taking ginkgo works really well because it just increases blood circulation to the area. may help with some memory capacity and some brain capacity. So, you know, there is some evidence for that might be useful. Certainly, there's no harm in giving it a go, and I would be encouraging that as well. And also, last thing that I recommend would be using some maca. So maca powder, which is a South American root powder, is really good, especially with females, in maintaining hormonal levels, especially during periods like this. And also it's really good at maintaining alertness. So maca, you can buy it in a powder form from the health food store. You can buy it from the pharmacy too. Throw that in your shakes, make a tea out of it. That works really, really well. Also, off the top of my head, reishi mushrooms work really well. They have a real calming effect, so really useful to use prior to studying as well. And reishi mushrooms you can get in a powder form. You can get it from the pharmacy, health food store. So they would be some of the strategies that I would be using there, Jenny, for your daughter, if you can get her to do all of those. And you can do all of those because they all work differently. There's sort of no overkill factor there. But yeah, just do that. Cool. Excellent. The next question I have is from Naomi. And she's been recommended, she's saying that she's been recommended a vaporizer for her child for colds and flus, but she was told by the pharmacist that she can only use it for a few hours at a time, rather than using it for the 7 hours as listed on the box. So Naomi, this is a common question that we get in the pharmacy as well. So just to take a step back, for a vaporizer is a device that you can fill with water, and you can put eucalyptus oil, or you can use just water on its own, and it basically humidifies and vaporizes the air. We generally recommend this for kids because typically some kids, and kids under 2 especially, cannot take any medication to help with their colds and flus because their respiratory system is not fully developed. And by using a vaporizer, it humidifies the air and sort of liquefies the secretion. So liquefies the gunk in the nose and in the chest, allows their nasal passages to open up. And by the way, all this works for adults as well. Opens up the nasal passages, opens up the breathing airways, and you know, your child generally feels a lot better. The boxes all say that you can use it for 7 hours at a time. And yeah, generally as a pharmacist, we would only recommend that you use it for a couple of hours at a time. Here's why. If you have the vaporizer going continuously, it can humidify the room and then dry out the room too much. As a consequence, also, your child may also dry up all of their secretions. So we've gone from having too much gunky, and then it liquefies it, and then it dries it up too much by leaving the vaporizer on for an extended period of time. And then you end up with more problems than what you started with. Your child can't breathe even more, which is not funny, but yeah. So what I would be recommending is perhaps using the vaporizer in a controlled environment for a couple of hours at a time and turning it off. Definitely before sleep time or bedtime, I would be putting the vaporizer on in the room and leaving it on for, putting it on an hour before, leaving it on for maximum 2 hours afterwards. And that ensures that you can keep an eye on the child, make sure they're not drying out too much, and they're breathing really well as well. So that's why, Naomi, we recommend that you use the vaporizer in that fashion. And yes, if you're an adult, certainly you could use it for a longer period of time, but for a child, I would just err on the side of caution and just be present and aware that you could be drying them up too much. Yeah, cool. Easy. Next question we've got is from Carla, and she says she got a medication from the pharmacy and it was $200, and the pharmacist told her that the medication was not funded by the government. Why? Yeah, Carla, we get this every day. So we have this amazing system in Australia called the Pharmaceutical Benefits Scheme, where medicines are available throughout Australia for Australian citizens, and most medications are funded by the government. So what that means is you only pay a certain amount, typically if you're what we classify a general patient, up to $40. And if this medication is subsidised by the government pay the pharmacy the rest. Not all medications that are available in Australia are on the PBS system. So why? It can be a whole heap of reasons why. Perhaps to get on the PBS system, there's quite a rigorous process in providing documentation, evidence, and once that happens, then there's an advisory committee that have a look at this medication to see whether it's suitable. and whether it's suitable to be on the PBS. And there's a lot of factors that go into that decision-making process, including the benefit, the cost to the government, the therapeutic benefit of that medication, and they're the main reasons why. So it's quite possible that your doctor has prescribed the best medication for you. However, that medication is not on the PBS because the government don't recognize it as being on the PBS at the moment. So in that instance, you would need to pay the full price of the medication because the government aren't funding it on your behalf. And yeah, that's why. So why aren't all medications on there? As I touched on it, there's so many medications and there's a whole process. You'll probably find that newer medications also are what we call private. And eventually, over time, they may get listed onto the PBS. And it's just a government system that we have. We already have an amazing PBS system where the bulk of our medications are subsidised to ensure that everybody can have access to medications. But Carla, I think in this instance, your doctor's recommended a medication where it's not on the PBS, and that's why you have to pay $200. Hopefully that makes sense, Carla. I don't think I've got anything more to add on that one. Yeah. So certainly, maybe actually I can add one more thing. If you have private health insurance, check with your insurance provider. Depending on your level of cover and your health fund, you may be able to get some of it back. So that could be an option that you could use depending on your level of cover on private health insurance. Yeah, on some money that you could get back from your insurance fund with respect to this medication. Yeah, I think that's it. Color. Yeah, cool. All right. So that's the end of the show. Super short one, I think. I'm not really sure. But I would just encourage you again, if you could like and share this video, give us a review, especially on Facebook or Google. As I mentioned, it just helps spread the word about some of the stuff that we're doing here. If you have a question, you're watching the replay, please make sure that you leave a question in the comment section below. Instagram people, if you want to see this episode again, please head over to our Facebook page and you can watch it again there. If you have a question, pop it up here that comes up on our feed and I can answer it for you next week. Yeah, it's certainly no solo effort putting this show together. I want to thank all the team because it's only me that's just delivering it, but there is a whole team that helps me put this show together. The assistants in the store, Jenny, Lauren, and Catherine, our pharmacist, Jerry and Rasal, the intern, pharmacist, Anna. Also want to thank our post-production team, that's Julius and Anna, who then take this Q&A bite and make it look pretty and then do the post-production and all that other fun stuff that goes on in this show. Cool. I think that's it. Excellent, guys. I look forward to hanging out with you all next Thursday. Will be episode number 32. And yeah, have a great week. Peace.